About 10 years ago on a business trip, I ran into some gentlemen out in Arizona that were fly fishing guides. And they had talked about doing some TV and doing some filming of some of the rivers and lakes that they had fished. So I was a little intrigued by that and decided to keep in contact with these guys and talk about the future. And that was something that always had interested me, fly fishing, conventional fishing, hunting, and especially cooking. So we talked for several months and decided that it would be an interesting idea and a concept to put a show together. So after several months of communication, we decided that this would be an interesting concept to have a show on television where you actually went hunting or fishing, and then at the end of the show you prepared a gourmet wild game dinner with the game or fish that we had taken or harvested that day. So it was kind of interesting because it was a whole new thing for me. I had never been involved in television. I had to learn how to use the camera, how to use the editing equipment, and we just started one day at a time. We started filming, went to some beautiful places in Montana, in Utah, and Texas, got some great footage, and we put a television show together. So as this idea developed, I decided to get in touch with the network and started with the Sportsman Channel. And the Sportsman Channel at the time was a very small network. They were looking for new sponsors. They were looking for new hosts to have these television shows, and the timing was right. So I decided to sign a contract with the Sportsman Channel, which covered 13 original episodes that ran every Sunday morning, and then it was followed by 2 repeats during the week of that same show, and then the entire series would repeat the second 13 weeks. So for 6 months, my show was on the air 3 times a week and got a lot of exposure nationally, and I really enjoyed it because I got to see some fantastic places. I went to hunt caribou up near the Arctic Circle, deep sea fishing in Panama, peacock bass fishing in Brazil, and hunting in British Columbia, and not to mention fishing in Florida and Utah, Montana, Wyoming. It's just been a great experience for me. And after that first year, it just got a lot of travel and a lot of work. So I really couldn't run the show every single year because of my regular job. But what I would do is I would go out and I would film enough episodes to put on a series for 6 months, and then I would go film for another year and take that year off on TV and then go back the following year. And as it grew, the destinations got more luxurious. They got more intense, they got more technical, and I really developed a passion for the fly fishing at that point. As the business grew and the TV show gained a little more popularity, I got to meet more and more outfitters and beautiful lodges, and started to concentrate a lot more on the fly fishing portion of things. And at that time, I decided to move into Root Sports, which is in Pittsburgh, because it was a local airing. It covered Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, parts of Maryland, and parts of New York. And it was more my demographic here because it was a lot easier for me to get sponsorship. The national broadcast, you really have to have a full-time commitment and sponsors with a lot of money to be able to support this, because you just can't run your show every other year there. It just it wouldn't work. So as the TV series went on, I did it for about 7 years, and as I was filming all of these TV shows, I got to know the outfitters and the owners of these lodges in the different countries, in the different cities, and I became friends with a lot of them. And then I decided that, wow, this is really an interesting place to be, and I would love to bring people here to let them see this. And I started to take friends with me that would go along. They would go fishing with the guides, and they would enjoy the entire package. They would be able to go fishing with the guides. They'd be able to come back and have great meals, great food, great wines. And I said, this is an interesting concept. So I decided to move out of the TV business and become a travel agent. So now what I do is I will sponsor trips, and I will get a group of anywhere from 6 to 12 to 20 people, and we will go to these resorts. I like to host as many as I can. That's kind of limited limited because of my vacation and regular work schedule. So now I have about 22 destinations that I offer. And what it does is it takes all of the guesswork and all of the work for someone who wants to go on a trip but has never done it before. First of all, when you're spending a lot of money to go on a beautiful trip like that, you want to make sure that it's first class. You want to make sure there are no hitches. You have a great time. The fishing or hunting is good. So you're a little unsure, and that's where I come in. I take that portion of it away from the customer. I know the lodges, I've picked the lodges, I know what the clients would like, and I know what the lodges have to offer. So it makes it a nice, complete package.